One Zambia, One Nation. Welcome to Zanis News. The headlines. Vice President Mutalena Lumango calls for enhanced parliamentary proceedings. CEEC disperses loans worth 110 million kwacha. Former Secretary to Cabinet Skechile Sachika put to rest. Plus athletics, advised to take sports seriously. With the news in detail, my name is Faith Katai, and on sign language interpreter we have Imelda Mlea. Vice President Mutalena Lumango has emphasized the importance of enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of parliamentary proceedings. Ms. Nalumango said this during the official opening of the first ever training workshop for presiding officers of the National Assembly held in Lusaka today. Sharon Walia has the details in the following report.
In a bid to enhance efficiency and effectiveness of parliamentary proceedings, the National Assembly, through the newly established Institute for Parliamentary Studies and Training, has organized the first ever training workshop for presiding officers. The workshop was officially opened by the Vice President Mutalena Lumango, who expressed confidence that the meeting would lead to stronger and more resilient governance frameworks.
This is with the aim of creating a conducive governance environment which is pivotal for national development. You will agree with me that such a legal framework can only be effectively put in place in government business if government business is conducted smoothly on the floor of the House. Conversely, if business on the floor of the House is not conducted efficiently, it has a direct negative impact on overall government policy direction and ultimately the delivery of services to our people. So training for members of parliament is also critical and cardinal for us to move better, so that when we are dealing with policy matters, politics can be lessened for the sake of our country.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, stated that the National Assembly is putting up measures to enhance order and discipline during parliamentary proceedings.
Amidst all these difficult assignments, presiding officers, unlike ordinary parliamentarians, rarely have training opportunities to develop their skill and share valuable lessons and experiences in conducive atmosphere such as this one. I'm therefore delighted that today we are witnessing this inaugural training workshop by the institution. Let me take this opportunity to state that in the near future, we will be engaging parliaments in the SADC region so that they consider sending their respective parliamentarians and staff for training at our institute here in Zambia.
And the United Nations has pledged continued support in the implementation of gender equity in Parliament.
I would like to take this opportunity to underscore the commitment of the United Nations system in Zambia to supporting policies and programs for women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision making.
The workshop marks a significant milestone in Zambia's ongoing parliamentary reforms and brings together resource persons, both current and former presiding officers, from within Zambia and the region. Sharon Walia reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mulambo Haimbe, says there is need for greater collaboration between Africa and Korea. Mr. Haimbe said this in his intervention statement during the meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs at the inaugural Korea-Africa Summit in Seoul, Republic of Korea. The minister underscored the need to seize the opportunity at the summit to foster greater collaboration and mutual understanding between Korea and Africa. Mr. Haimbe, who is also Minister of Justice, emphasized that the challenges faced by the respective countries should be a priority while exploring new avenues for partnership and growth. The meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs, preceded by the Korea-Africa Summit of Heads of State and Government, will be held from 4th to 5th June 2024 under the theme, The Future We Want Together, Shared Growth, Sustainability and Solidarity. President Hakainde Hichilema is being represented by Mr. Haimbe at the summit. This is contained in a statement issued to Zanis by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The government says it will continue to work closely with non-governmental organizations and civil society organizations to uplift the welfare of marginalized in society. Minister of Community Development and Social Services, Doreen Mwamba, says the establishment of Sanvupe Foundation of Peace, which is involved in empowerment and education programs that are supporting women, orphans, and the aged, will supplement government efforts in caring for the groups. Ms. Mwamba was speaking in a speech read on her behalf by the Chief Standard Officer, Muketeke Mwalusambo, during the official launch of SFP in Lusaka.
Established in September 2023, the Sanvupe Foundation of Peace, SFP, which was officially launched today, has through various initiatives been helping supplement government efforts in addressing the needs of the marginalized in society. Formed under the umbrella of the Shalom Embassy Ministry, the organization aims to provide comprehensive care, rehabilitation, education, and empowerment to widows, orphans, and the aged. SFP Chief Executive Officer Vupe Sinyangwe shares more information on the organization.
Our purpose is to extend a helping hand to the orphans and widows among us, providing them with opportunities to thrive and fulfill their potential. Today, we reaffirm the commitment and mark our formal registration as a foundation dedicated to these vital goals.
And Minister of Community Development Doreen Mwamba, through her representative, said the organization's mission resonates with her ministry's mandate.
It is government's intention to see all citizens lead a better life, and so involvement of non-governmental organizations in this cause gives government joy. With the route Sanvupe Foundation of Peace has taken to empower citizens through education and vocational training, the burden government carries on its shoulders has been lessened, and we encourage more civil society organizations or non-governmental organizations to participate in the upliftment and empowerment of the vulnerable members of society.
Meanwhile, Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zolo, who was represented by the District Administrative Officer O'Neil Chia, expressed gratitude for the development.
This is something which is a big source of happiness for us, because we know that the burden of the government is getting lighter, because a new NGO has been born to handle or work together with the government on these big issues relating to our children, our women, and other vulnerable people.
Ntazanga Mumba for Zanis in Lusaka.
In other news, Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Mike Mposha, says the water sector has set out a robust program to respond to the effects of the drought disaster affecting both human and animal life. Mr. Mposha says about 2.3 billion kwacha is projected to finance projects that include maintenance of over 700 dams and sinking of 1,500 boreholes. He says due to the emergency nature of some of the activities, the ministry will work with the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, to ensure the procurement process is expedited. The minister was speaking in Chipata when he called on Eastern Province Minister Peter Piri. More in the following report.
The water and sanitation sector is one of the most affected by the changing climatic conditions that saw President Hakainde Hichilema declare an emergency on the experienced drought. While in Eastern Province on a tour of duty, Minister of Water Development and Sanitation Mike Mposha took time to outline the direction his ministry is taking in response to the drought situation.
Prioritizing those provinces which are covering the 84 districts that were declared to be terribly affected by this drought. So we are going to maintain about 770 dams. We are going to drill about 1,500 boreholes in different districts. Under the drought response, our plan is to drill boreholes that will go deeper, around 800 meters, and we are going to equip these boreholes with solar panels and solar pumps and reticulate water. So we'll also equip them with tanks so that we can put also a short network of about 2 kilometers and provide taps at different points.
Apart from this and other interventions targeting human life, more is being done to support both domestic and wildlife.
Other than human beings, we have a potential threat on our animals, domestic animals not having water. So we'll provide construction of water traps so that animals can access water. But beyond that, we'll also take care of the wildlife in the national parks because of also the emergency nature of the activities that we've lined up. We are working with the disaster and mitigation unit to ensure that they assist in the procurement.
Meanwhile, Eastern Province Minister Peter Perry made an appeal.
Just to hope the issues that we have elaborated here, we hope they will be done quickly to mitigate the issues of droughts in our districts. We have very serious challenges, especially from the area where I come from, where we have the national park. As we are speaking, the little lagoons that animals depend on have dried up. We also urge our local authorities also to look into the issue of mitigating the shortages of water using CDF funds.
Mr. Mposha is in Eastern Province to inspect and commission some water and sanitation projects. Abigail Kashweka reporting in Chipata.
The Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission, CEEC, has dispersed loan facilities worth 110 million kwacha to over 106 enterprises across the country. This is under the agriculture mechanization model. CECC Public Relations and Communications Manager Michelo Mukata says this is to enable the enterprises venture into various business activities. Here's the rest of the story.
CEC loan facilities under the agriculture mechanization. The Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission loan facilities under the agriculture mechanization has empowered many Zambians that got the funds to venture into various activities. One such enterprise is M&H of Chilanga District, who got a loan facility from the Commission. CEC Public Relations and Communications Manager Michelo Mukata praised M&H for the proper utilization of the loan facility.
Farm that deals in broiler production. When we started, we used to produce about 300 chickens. So when we saw an advert from CEEC about agriculture mechanization, we decided to apply for that. So we're given a loan of 1.5 million. And when we were given the loan, we decided to expand our business. So from 300, and from just one poultry that was housing 300, we decided to expand it to 10,000, where we built 2 more poultry houses, and we are now housing 10,000 beds. So with the money as well, what we did is we decided, because when we started, we were just doing manual work, where we would actually lift the buckets, put in the feeds in the feeders. We went into automation, where we had to procure automated feeders and drinkers.
And Mr. Mukata also disclosed that CEC has started responding to adverse effects of climate change by disbursing funds to clients that can grow winter maize, among others. He said this in Mumba District.
Being able to see where the resources are being channeled, and also with the development of the sector, being involved in poultry, we all know that almost everybody looks to chicken as a source of protein, and M&H is trying to meet that need And also, well, for the enterprise, they are able to make some profits. All in all, as CEC, our disbursement or support in the under the agricultural mechanization loan product is to over 106 enterprises across the country, with loan facilities amounting in excess of 110 million kwacha.
And the beneficiary of the loan facility explained what they are doing at the farm.
CEC's response to the drought that was pronounced and, well, that was experienced countrywide, we're able to see that with the support that the Commission has pumped into this project and several others that applied under the special call, the impact is there because now alternative irrigation systems are being installed and irrigation is being made on these facilities.
Zeribe manzi tangu atashanga mbeu zinafa chifua cha manzi but mkwenda kwa masogoro wa CEC wanatutandizako na masola na authentication hapa manje vintu vilanka bwino manje.
Sandra for Zanis in Mumba district.
President Hakainde Hichilema has described the late former Secretary to the Cabinet, Skechile Sachika, as a man who believed in national unity and focused on what was good for the country above personal interest. President Hichilema said Dr. Sachika's commitment to service underscored his strive for excellency. He urged leaders serving in different portfolios to emulate Dr. Sachika's wisdom and commitment to service by practicing servant leadership that is responsible and accountable. The head of state was speaking during the church service for the late Dr. Sachika held at the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross in Lusaka. Audrey Kalenga gives us details in this report.
It was a somber moment as President Hakainde Hichilema joined hundreds of mourners at the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross to pay his last respect to former Secretary to Cabinet Skechile Sachika. In his eulogy, President Hichilema describes the late Dr. Sachika as a man who was capable of delivering beyond borders.
In the public service, he distinguished himself here at home, but also far away. Again, it underscores his capabilities. When you are taken out of your environment, comfort zone, in a different environment, your abilities are tested even more. He, in places such as Geneva, or as it were, Switzerland, he was able to excel at a very senior level. I ask our young people to focus on education when the opportunity avails itself, learning from Dr. Sachika. And then your levels of comfort and ability to perform at any level improves. There's no question about that. Serving as Deputy Secretary of Cabinet, rising to be Secretary of Cabinet, serving our citizens is an onerous task. And I want to say to colleagues that are serving today, once in a while you reflect, am I doing what others before me in this office were able to do to serve the people of Zambia?
In a tribute, his son Andrew Sachika said his father was an honorable man who loved his family and could be relied upon in whatever situation.
For today, I want to tell you about a man who was the most honorable man, a man of integrity that I've ever known. And this man is called Skechile Diamond Sachika. He was my father, my counselor, and my mentor.
Earlier Earlier, Dr. Sachika's close friend Samuel Mlozi gave an account of his life history as he remembered him as a respected citizen who was also passionate about sports.
Dr. Sachika, at the time, was a great footballer. He was the goalkeeper of the Elephants football team, which then was a famous team in Mongo and the region. In 1966, Dr. Sachika married his beloved wife, Mrs. Esther Banda Sachika. The couple remained together until Mrs. Sachika's death in April 2023.
Meanwhile, Father Samson Chewe, in his sermon, encouraged Christians to live a life of repentance, emphasizing that death is a transition and those who die in Christ shall live again.
Come into existence. The only serious project in the midst of other minor projects remaining for you and me is to return to the Lord. When and how remains the secret of God, the author of life. Scripture in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says, there is time for everything. That as we come into existence, certainly there will be time for us to depart this world. Time to die.
Dr. Sachika was born on 29th August 1939 and died on 29th May 2024 at the age of 85 and was put to rest today at Leopards Hill Memorial Park. Audrey Kalenga for Zanis in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Vice President Mutalena Lumango today led mourners at the burial ceremony of the late Sketchley Sachika at the Leopards Hill Memorial Park, and former cabinet minister in the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy (MMD) regime William Harrington has described the late former secretary to the cabinet Sketchley Sachika as a lover of peace who frowned upon violence. Details in the following report by Chilika Chabalengula.
Former Secretary to the Cabinet, Sketchley Sachika, was today laid to rest at the Leopards Hill Memorial Park. Dr. Sachika, aged 85, died on Wednesday, 29 May 2024, at the Minor Soko Medical Center in Lusaka. Present at the burial ceremony were Vice President Mutalena Lumango, current and former secretaries to the Cabinet, current and former cabinet ministers, as well as permanent secretaries. Speaking at the ceremony, family representative and former cabinet minister William Harrington described the deceased as peace-loving.
It's very sad and sadly that it is about a year since we all saw put to rest his beloved wife, who had passed on suddenly at home. For me personally, and I'm sure many of you relatives and fellow mourners, the sudden and totally unexpected passing on of Dr. Sachika can only be described as totally devastating. He did not believe in violence to resolve disputes. He believed in using legal channels and non-violent methods. I wish to reveal that on several occasions, Dr. Sachika would, in our several conversations and interactions, state that he stood for peace, that he abhorred violence as a means of resolving issues. Dr. Sachika's vision and desire for peace cannot be overemphasized. It must indeed live on. Yes, we may be living in a vacuum, or he may be living in a vacuum, but we can give him a well-deserved rest, assuring him that the greatest honor we can give him, all of us, is to emulate his peaceful fight, not a violent fight for what he regarded as the legitimate rights of people.
Dr. Sachika served as secretary to the cabinet from the year 1990 to 1992. Shilika Chabalengula for Zanis in Lusaka.
The Kasama Municipal Council has handed over 4.6 million kwacha as Constituency Development Fund grants to beneficiary groups in Kasama Central and Lukasha constituencies under the 2024 allocation. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundo has however, warned beneficiaries of the CDF empowerment funds in the province against changing their project proposals. Patrick Kabwe reports that Mr. Mpundu was speaking in a speech read on his behalf by Provincial Deputy Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri at the handover ceremony.
These are members selected from the 121 cooperatives drawn from Kasama Central and Lukasha constituencies in Kasama district. The cooperatives are earmarked to benefit from the 4.6 million kwacha grants disbursed by the Kasama Municipal Council under the 2024 Constituency Development Fund CDF allocation. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu, who was represented by his deputy Beauty Piri, handed over the checks to beneficiaries at a ceremony held at the Provincial Planning Unit in Kasama. The beneficiaries were warned against changing their project proposals after receiving the funds.
To mention to all beneficiaries that the money you're receiving today is as a result of the business proposals you submitted last year. Any changes to your project proposals must be approved by the CDF committee to avoid disruptions and to maintain the integrity of our development efforts.
And the local authority said it will intensify monitoring of projects to ensure compliance by the beneficiaries.
And the total amount for both constituencies is coming to 4.6 million kwacha. So, guest of honor, let me take this opportunity to urge the beneficiaries to stick to the projects.
Chanda Hamashot spoke on behalf of the district administration. Meanwhile, the beneficiaries are grateful to the government for the gesture.
We need to work together as a team. I am aware that most of you are various respective cooperatives, and in teamwork, you win.
For Zanis News in Kasama, I am Patrick Kabwe.
The Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit has delivered 182 metric tons of maize to Zimba district. More in this report.
Climate change has devastating effect on environment coupled by human activities such as indiscriminate cutting down of trees. The resultant of climate change was a dry spell which Zimba and many parts of the country experienced. Hunger is no longer a secret in most households owing to crop failure in the country. To mitigate the hunger situation, government has reacted sharply and embarked on a distribution of relief food in most hit districts. In Mapatiza constituency of Zimba, District Commissioner DC Robson Mulamfu recently flagged off 182 metric tons of relief food.
Food for work and food for free. Starting from here in Chundwe. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Mlamfu handed over the food supplies to the beneficiaries at a food distribution ceremony held in Chundwe ward with an assurance that all the 11 other wards would receive their share of 300 by 50 kilograms bags of maize.
The food which the government has given us is going to be taken to all corners of Zimba, starting from today until when we reach the last place.
Government has engaged Zambia Red Cross to be the lead, implement and distribute the food, as coordinator Obet Monga explains.
So our job is to make sure that wherever we go, we make sure that everyone who is not who have not been registered by social cash transfer have been registered. Of course, we have some few who have remained. Things are moving up, though we had some problems, but I still say we are able to overcome them.
A Chundu resident who was one of the beneficiaries could not hide her joy. With this intervention of food relief distribution by government to the affected people, it is hoped that hunger will be reduced in homes, the district and the nation at large. John Maliangu, Zanis, in Zimba district, Southern Province.
Limulunga District Commissioner Lutangu has flagged off the distribution of 154 metric tons of maize under the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU. Mr. Lutangu says government is keen to aid people and ensure no one starves to death. More in this story.
Government has flagged off the distribution of relief maize in all 13 wards of Luena constituency in Western Province under the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU. This is in a bid to cushion the impact left by the drought that destroyed farmers' crops in many areas of Limulunga district, leaving farmers food insecure.
This is a very happy moment for me as the Limulunga DC at the occasion where we are flagging off the 154 metric tons of maize which have been given to Limulunga, and this is the first batch. The second one will be 100 metric tons, which is following very, very shortly. In order to stem off the drought which has been declared, the government of Zambia, under the able leadership of His Excellency the President of the Republic, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has come to the aid of the people by ensuring that nobody should starve to death.
This development has elated Limulunga residents who gathered in high spirits to receive the maize.
Bakengisa pona halo yebona hala kwa muso warunao oliten kuli noli kutwa kutotobera mani noli kutwa manyando kono fa rubona kuli manyando aferire nitara iferire rubona kuli muso warunao kimuso kona kupisa bana baona yabira ukatweza halire sinachwana nikutwa kulukuruha mabupiro nikutaba mabasi aka abana kushwatara bakacha bakakura
tumeze ulimanya luzimu luko nakubulirira kakulubona kuitarafa ya fera balutusa kakulufasicho ndicho zaluna zichile kwa lizazi kono fa lubona ku muso wazwera pili kulutusa cyo baitumela huru mane mulimu afuyole.
Meanwhile, Maranatha Grassroots Institute, contracted to distribute the maize, has said the exercise will be completed within 10 days.
We can assure the people of Limulunga that we'll do our best to make sure that this food arrives at the people in good time. So we thank the government for this initiative and for also entrusting us with this responsibility to distribute the relief food.
Stella Goma reporting for Zanis in Limulunga District, Western Province.
Kaluli Development Foundation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture in Pemba District, has empowered 25 women with micro-irrigation kits and cereal seed. Project Officer Kilan Mulea says through the Sustainable Livelihoods and Food Security Project, over 700 households in the district have been targeted to engage in sustainable agriculture in the wake of climate change. Here is a report.
The impact of the drought in Pemba District of Southern Province has threatened food security for many households. However, a beacon of hope has emerged as the Kaluli Development Foundation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, through its Sustainable Livelihoods of Food Security project, has empowered 25 women and their households in the Siamulia area in Pemba with game-changing tools to improve food security for their households. Each household has received a micro-irrigation kit, including solar-powered submersible pump, reaper, and cereal and legume seeds. These women, traditionally the backbone of their family's food production, previously relied on hard labor, watering their gardens with buckets. This not only limited their yields, but also caused physical strain.
So under women empowerment, we've targeted 25 women who were actually assessed that they've been very good farmers through using buckets. But now we want to ease on the fatigue. So this is why now we are giving them pumps. But these pumps are given as soft loans. At the end of 2 seasons, they should be able to buy another set, which will be passed on to the other.
The Kaluli Development Foundation has also held a field day in Siamulia to showcase these new techniques to other farmers in the area. The Ministry of Agriculture in the district has hailed this initiative as a game changer for the farmers in Siamulia camp.
We are very happy having organizations like KDF coming on board
just to supplement the effort of the government, as we are helping farmers to pull through in these difficult situations.
By giving us these solar panels, that will enable our farmers to water our crops even in this dry season. And by this, we'll fight the poverty.
The Muchimba household is one of the beneficiaries of the irrigation kits and is eager to improve its household income.
Ndabona ndajana ntobo yakutabya nsana inzala ino ndayibona kuti awati ikondikoma pe.
Chintu Nangamba, for Zanis in Pemba, Southern Province.
About 180,000 kwacha worth of equipment has been vandalized at the Eastern Tropical Fruit Processing Plant in Katete District. Speaking in an interview with Zanis, Katete District Commissioner Raphael Piri disclosed that the equipment has been vandalized due to lack of activity at the plant. Mr. Piri further attributed the vandalism to the lack of security at the facility. The plant was completed in 2022 and has not been operational.
This project was completed in 2022, and since then it has not been operational. Now, the biggest concern for this office is that this is a project that was put up at great cost by the government, and now because it's not operational, the worst worry is that the security that was being provided by G4 Security has been withdrawn because there's no activity at all. And this has led into some amount of vandalism to the extent that equipment almost worth 181,000 kwacha has been vandalized because there's completely no security, and it is under the care of just general workers.
Lunte District Commissioner Joseph Chilando says government has made progress in reducing the shortage of desks in schools in the district. Mr. Chilando says the local authority recently procured over 3,000 desks using the 2023 Constituency Development Fund. He says the development has helped to reduce the number of pupils sitting on the floor while learning, especially after reintroduction of free education. Speaking in an interview with Zanis, Mr. Chilando says most government schools have benefited from the initiative.
The pupils are now sitting on the desks, including community schools, because we have about 66 schools in our district. So all of them have received, except few of them. But thank God, there is a budget line also for 2024 under CDF where we are going to procure more desks, meaning by the end of this year, no child in Lunte district will be sitting on the floor. This government has done a tremendous work. So we have no deficit in terms of desks.
St. Margaret's Girls Secondary School has held a career exhibition to help pupils choose what they would want to be in future. School head teacher Angela Mwale says the intention is to expose the pupils to different types of professions. More in the following report.
These are pupils of St. Margaret's Girls Secondary School in Chipangari district. They have gathered for a career exhibition for them to choose what they would want to pursue after their academic education. Several technocrats were at hand to offer information about various careers.
The age is 17 years and above.
I just talk about medicine and how to get there to be like me. So I'll just give you guys a brief history of myself. I completed grade 12 in 2009 and I was 17 at the time. I went to med school when I was 18. I graduated from med school in 2017.
The school administration explains why it held the career exhibition.
The intention for this is that the girls should be exposed to different types of professions that are there. Otherwise, some of our girls come from places where they only see teachers, possibly nurses. But for today, since they have seen a lot of them, they have learned, and I'm very sure that they have gotten one or two things and they have discovered their careers.
It's a very important exercise which came up as a result of a research which was done in 2011, where a number of school-going children in secondary schools were examined to see their choices. So it came to the attention of our department as guidance that most of them seem not to understand what is available out there. So we thought it wise to call different departments.
Pupils expressed happiness with what they learned.
Had the privilege to know about the different departments and how they work, and I'm sure from this we have learned how to choose our careers, which career we should choose, which pathway we should take, and we really loved it. It was amazing.
This exhibition has offered a platform for these pupils to choose what they would want to be when they complete their academic education. Stephen Mukobeko, Zanis News, Chipangali, Eastern Province.
On a sad story, one person has died while two others are battling with their lives at Luingu District Hospital in Northern Province after the vehicle they were traveling in careered off the road. Provincial Police Commanding Officer Lucky Munkondia confirmed the development to Zambia News and Information Services, Zanis. Ms. Munkondia said the accident occurred yesterday around 12:30 hours around Chipeshi Chimumbi Road after the driver Munkonda Kabunda 40 lost control of the vehicle due to excessive speed at Chandamwamba village located 45 kilometers east of the district administration. She said involved was a Toyota Hilux registration number BAE 5755 belonging to Chambeshi Water and Sanitation Company, which was being driven by Kabunda of Location Compound. Ms. Munkondia said the passengers on board were William Simasiku, aged 45, who died upon arrival at the district hospital, and Domi Katongo, aged 28, of Kamanika village in Chief Chipalo area, who is battling for his life together with Kabunda. She said Simasiku sustained fatal head injuries and his body has since been deposited to Luingu District Hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem.
This accident occurred when the Toyota Sprinter, which was in front of the two trucks, reduced speed on the way, trying to turn to the right, and the first truck, which was following the car behind, abruptly reduced speed as well, and as a result, the last truck hit into the rear part of the truck which was in front of it, and due to its excessive speed, it caused the second truck to hit into the Toyota Sprinter, which was in the motion of turning, and the Toyota Sprinter ended up hitting into two pedestrians. Kindly be informed that 4 people died on the spot and were brought in dead as BID by traffic police officers at Kasama General Hospital mortuary, whilst 222 others who were passengers in the two trucks sustained serious injuries, and they are currently admitted at Kasama General Hospital.
In sports news, the 2024 National Scrabble Championship came to a close with reigning champion Paul Kalumba retaining the crown for the 11th time in a row. The two-day champion that drew participation from various schools, clubs and individuals was held at the Bank of Zambia Boys Sports Complex yesterday. More in the following report.
Paul Kalumba, a Lusaka-based resident, has been declared the 2024 Scrabble Association of Zambia champion for a consecutive 11th time in a row. Kalumba was declared champion after outthinking and outwitting other seasoned players such as Fred Kashamba and Simon Chipika when he recorded 14 wins and 4 losses. Kalumba, who walked away with a trophy, Scrabble board and 5,000 kwacha cash, paid tribute to government and called for rolling out the sport to the schools and communities.
May I thank government, firstly, for having sponsored Scrabble. We've had teams play in Las Vegas, we had another team play in Ghana, we had another team play in Botswana, and each time these teams are bringing results, we are very grateful for that sponsorship from government. I would want to appeal to the business world as well to come on board and complement government's effort in trying to sponsor Scrabble. As you can see, this is a game that will keep kids in the communities off the street.
Scrabble Association of Zambia SAZ praised government for supporting the tournament, which drew participation from various clubs, schools and individuals.
We are hoping to host our Zambia National Masters Scrabble Championship. The Masters comprises the top 10 from the Nationals. So the top 10 from today are the people that will participate in the Masters. Aside from the Masters, on the 15th, there is the South African National Championships, to which we were invited as Zambia. So we are hoping if we can solicit for sponsorship or from any well-wishers, we could travel for that.
The association appealed for sponsorship for the Masters Championship that will be used to pick a final national Scrabble team to represent Zambia.
We are very thankful to the government. They sponsored us on the trip to USA Las Vegas. They sponsored like 6 players, and we are appealing again to the same government to sponsor us too. We have South Africa Open, which will be held in the Cape Town on the 15th and 16th, and we have Africa Scrabble Championship, which will be held in October this year.
Zanis reports in Lusaka.
On that note, we have come to the end of Zanis News, but before we go, a reminder of the headlines. Vice President Mutalena Lumango calls for enhanced parliamentary proceedings. CEEC dispenses loans worth 110 million kwacha. Former Secretary to Cabinet, Skechile Sachika, put to rest. Plus athletics, advised to take sports seriously. That is all we had for you on Zanis News. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Faith Katai, and my sign language interpreter has been Imelda Mulea. Thank you for watching.